Good night. Hello, everyone. So it's me, Lucas, and I decided to record my first. I decided to name these CruijffCast because actually I was gonna do it when it was first announced that Cruyff was suffering from cancer, and I didn't get to start it due to several reasons. And sadly he's now gone, but surely not forgotten. And well, so I needed more than the time that I expected to start doing these videos, but since everything that happened today with um, Mascherano, Alves, and yesterday we were told about Sandro and Bartra, who is a goner as well. I decided to record this one because I had already written an article about what I think should be our focus regarding the planning for the next season. Not only next season, but everything after that, the future. So I won't repeat everything I said in the article. I can link here in the video description if that's the case. But regarding Alves, so Alves is a tough guy. He doesn't take shit from anyone. He doesn't care. He always says his mind, and so let's just remember what happened last season when he was about to renew his contract as well. He was going to leave, and then what happened was the club signed Aleix Vidal during these negotiations. And of course, Alves was pissed, because you're dealing with a player, a historical player, uh, probably the best right back uh, of all time, not only in our club, but his trophies alone, 3 Champions League, and everything is done, his connection with Messi, he's a different player. And so what happened was he did renew, but there was a clause, and this clause states that Alves up to 15 days before his contract for this year would end, he had the option to activate a clause where he unilaterally could leave the club. Okay, so he would only need to warn the club, say, "Hey, I'm activating the clause, and I'm going." And he did that today. That's what's happening. I know we heard it from like shit sources like Go.com or some shit, but it's Gerard Romero, man. And Gerard Romero, he used to work for Hack One, who was where it's a great radio in Barcelona. It's very famous radio, and he's a great guy. He has direct contact with the players. He's very close to Luis Suarez, and he knows about every one of the players, especially like the Catalan ones. You know, so he was one of the first guys to post a picture of Barca being the last player to leave the pitch after the double celebrations. But let's keep on with Alves. So yeah, Alves is gone. There's no chance he's gonna stay, at least from the information we were given by reliable sources, and Gerard Romero is one of them, one of the best one actually. And what does it mean for the team? Uh, the same, we are seeing a repeat of what happened with Xavi, you know. But with Xavi, at least he only left when he could no longer play. I mean, he played until he could no longer start matches, especially under Luis Enrique's style. And he got the perfect sense of completion because he left with the triple. So perfect for him. But when Xavi left, there was something that wasn't done that should have been done. That was Xavi passing the torch to someone, a player. Thiago should have been the chosen one. Let's not go into that. Let's just say Thiago was sold to pay for Neymar. Okay, if you don't know that, he was. a very one of the best journalists in Spain, someone who even moved to Munich to follow Guardiola around and writes a book about him on his first season in Bayern Munich, told me personally that yes, Thiago was sold, so we could have money to buy Neymar. It's true. That just shows how this club is being planned by people like Rosell and Bartomeu and so on. But let's talk about that later. Uh, so Alves is going, and he did not spend any time preparing someone to replace him. Aleix Vital was here for one season. Was a very irregular season. I know that he wasn't a superb performance. He had like maybe two or three good games. But the fact of the matter is, Alves did not spend time with this player, teaching him how to take over the reins. Just like happened with Xavi. He left. Thiago was gone before he even was, which is absurd. And Xavi, I mean, we are lucky he spent more time with Busquets and Iniesta. And if you pay enough attention, you're going to see that both Busquets, Iniesta, and Messi had to take on roles that they didn't have to before, just because Xavi is gone. I'm looking at Xavi right there. Messi is here. I wasn't going to put them all here. But the fact of the matter is, the planning just shows we are letting go of legendary players who are not preparing any players to take over for them. This happened with Xavi. It's happening again with Alves, and it's just it's that desperate. It's a crazy situation because I mean we got over what happened with Xavi because we had three excellent players, Busquets, Messi, and Iniesta, who took on greater roles so we could not feel Xavi's absence so much. But with Alves, it's going to be very, very difficult. You know, we could go after names. Please, please, just please stop saying Bellerin. Bellerin is not going to happen. He's not coming back to Barcelona. We are not spending over 30, 35, 40 million euros to sign him back from Arsenal. It's not going to happen. Forget it. It's over. Okay? But the thing is, we have one right back that spent a season with Alves, Aleix Vidal, and he did not learn from him. He didn't have time. The torch wasn't passed, and that is the hardest part, you know, because we had because he's gone this unique player Alves who had the best direct link with Messi that we can think of that we have ever seen actually, and he is the player who has given the most assists to Messi. It's not Xavi and Iniesta like the English stupid media likes to say, and we are not ready, you know, for that. I mean, we do have Sergio Roberto, who really had like great performances all around the pitch, especially at right back. But I myself would like to see the kid being used in midfield. You know, he would be great at right back, of course. I mean, he has shown it before. But again, the planning is being done wrong. You know, because Sergio Roberto hasn't played in right back for several months now, and now Alves is gone, and we are left with him, Aleix Vidal, and that's it. Because Adriano is gone, he has known that for months. There's no chance he's staying. Luis Enrique no longer uses him. He played like what 4 or 5 matches this season. He's gone. There's no chance he's staying. Douglas, I know you guys love him because he's a joke and all, but it's like the summit, you know, he's the apex, the utmost lack of planning you one could think of, because Douglas was even never good here in the Brazilian league, let alone had the level to even one day think of playing for a big club in Europe, let alone Barcelona. I mean, oh, Douglas only came to Barcelona because Zubi's assistant, I don't even remember his name, and some director here at São Paulo pocketed some money and we paid for it, and that's why the guy's there. Played like literally 8 matches and won 7 titles. So yeah. So that's what I had to say regarding the sporting planning that led to Alves' departure. But the main thing I have to talk to you guys today is regarding this board and why they are letting go so easily of a player like Alves, and they are actually planning and wanting to sell a player like Mascherano. So, when the devil himself, Rossell, took over the club in 2010, he rapidly put in place some changes to our bylaws. Okay, so the club nowadays it has to follow a certain debt ratio. Okay, so our debt nowadays I think it's 326 million euros. It was supposed to be way lower than that by now in a prospect they have developed themselves, and they need to work on that, especially because they have announced a new stadium which is going to cost 6 million euros. So they have this absurd debt. And the main thing here about these players leaving is one of the things the bylaw states is that we cannot spend more than I think 65 or 70% of our revenues on wages. That is forbidden. And if the current board does not go by that, if they do not respect that, they have to step down. They have a period. They have, I think they have like one the rest of this year or the rest of, until the end of the next season to fix it. Because I think nowadays they have to lower it, like they are 10 percentage points above it. So that is why someone like Alves, who earns I think like between 6 and 8 million euros each year, I mean after taxes, which means he costs us more, and Mascherano, who I think earn like 5 to 7 or even 8, I don't know the exact numbers, they are leaving. Because even after the Nike deal, this new record breaking, the biggest in football history, whatever, even with that new deal, this club, this board, is in serious danger of having to step down if they do not slash the wages completely. They have to cut down, and that's why they are focusing on two players that earn a lot of money. That's Alves, who has been at the club for like 8 years now, and Mascherano, who has been at the club for I think 6 or 7 years. So they are doing that. That only shows yet again the complete lack of sporting planning. Okay, because as I said about Alves, him leaving without having prepared a proper backup is ridiculous. And the fact they are doing it and allowing him to have this clause, uh, who make it to make it look like it's his decision, but it's something that will help them. So it's very convenient to them. Okay. Now regarding Mascherano's departure, look, it is uncertain. Right now, we don't have a definitive answer about it. I know that they started like this. The rumor started flying. I think it came from Sport first. First of all, whatever sports prints, normally they're wrong about transfer. Okay, they do not know anything. Mundo Deportivo, they usually have direct links with the club, and they even warned, I think in yesterday's cover or 2 days ago, that Mascherano and Alves could leave. And guess what? So the thing about Mascherano is, first Sports said he was leaving. Then Mundo Deportivo came and said the club said that he wasn't leaving. Then Di Marzio came on and say something. I mean, lots of people think Di Marzio is the best transfer guy on Twitter, on the internet. That's not the case. He has been known to make mistakes. It happens. But then the first person that I would listen to was Veronica Brunati. She's a Argentine journalist who is very close to the players, especially the Argentine ones, obviously, like Messi and Mascherano. And she said, first she said that it was a false news. He wasn't. He was staying. Then she deleted that tweet and said, Mascherano wants to stay, but that doesn't mean the club does not want to sell him. So that's the first person who said something. And then a second journalist, he's a journalist I trust, his name is Xavi Campos. He told me that yes, they have been dealing with talking to Juventus. There have been talks. Apparently, our club wants to sell him. As I just explained to you regarding the wages, that's the reason why. They're trying to offload Mascherano because of his high wages. Okay? So where does that leave us? So we have the best right back we have ever had, the best right back in Europe, maybe, and the guy with the third most trophies ever, leaving due to first, lack of sporting planning, and secondly, lack of financial planning. And we have a guy who has been a total hero, especially on the last 6 matches, where we had to come back from the 4 losses we had, and then win the 5 league matches, and then win the cup final. Mascherano was like one of the main characters of these 6 matches, and he even gave like a superb pre-assist to Suarez' second goal at Granada. I won't forget that. And even though he was sent off during the final, which I really thought was really harsh. I mean, he deserved a red card. I'm not saying that, but I mean just from what he did on the season, he deserved to be there to earn this trophy, by playing. So yeah, I mean, it doesn't look good. It's gonna be really tough to find a right back to fill Alves' shoes. It's gonna be one of the biggest challenges we have faced sporting wise in a long time. The center back situation is going to be dire because if Mascherano leaves, because I don't know if he actually will, I hope not, because I hope that since he wants to stay that he gets to stay. Bartra is gone. I mean, I could talk about how he never had like a run of games like Sergio Roberto finally got, and now he's an important part of our squad. But he's gone, he's 25, he has to go, he's been saying goodbye to people who work at the Camp Nou, so it's gone, it's a decision that has been made. And we have Piqué, Mathieu, who should not be here, who should be sold because he's about to be 33 years old and who has cost us 4 points this league season. But Lucio loves him, so I think he's gonna stay. And Vermaelen is still, he could stay. I mean, it's absurd. The first thing we should do, even if it meant Bartra leaving, because if the coach doesn't trust him like Tata Martino didn't, or Tito, or even Guardiola, and he's leaving, okay, I get that. He's 25, he gets to. But Vermaelen should have been the first one to be sent off because he has been with us for 2 seasons and he missed like 90% of the matches. That's absurd. We cannot have a player like him. He has been unhealthy for 6 years now. We can't have a player like that. We compete at the highest level. We have to have players who are at the best. Vermaelen won't be that. He has to go. But no, we are letting Bartra go, now Mascherano go, and the 3 CBs we have is Piqué, who is untouchable, Mathieu, who I think is a joke and cannot possibly be considered to start alongside Piqué, and Vermaelen, who cannot be trusted at all. Which means we have to sign at least 2 CBs, and maybe even 3. Or one of those CBs that, can play also as a left back, because we're going to need to sign a left back. We only have Alba because Adriano is gone, he's leaving, and on my article I said my favorite CB targets are Mustafi, Koulibaly from Napoli, and I forgot Ta from Bayer Leverkusen. And regarding the left back position, I haven't seen him before, but Jonas Hector looks like a great player as well. So the video is already like 20 minutes long. I won't talk too much. And so now I'm gonna open your questions. I asked you guys to send me questions, and I'm gonna do it. Okay. So okay. hmm No, Bellerin is not a realistic possibility, Mr. Nandan underline JK. It's not happening. Um, no, the Sydney to Barca rumors are false, Mr. Prime Objective. It's not gonna happen. Uh-huh. Wolf of Camp Nou, who is a great guy. Thank you for the question. He asked me, what do you think about the economical situation, plus the impact in the sporting's planning of the building of the new Camp Nou? Well, I think their priority now is not to get fired by their own bylaws. They are focusing on fixing both the debt ratio and the percentage of revenues going to pay wages, and that's why we're seeing players like Mascherano and Alves leave. I think, as Albert Limos has told me, that the new Nike deal will only mean that the wages will be more or less in control until 2018, and then after that it will get better. But for us to make signings, the signings that we need, we're gonna either have to sell players or to announce the new shirt sponsorship soon. You guys know I think Qatar is gonna be renewed no matter what. So only after that, only after the shirt renewal is announced, they will start dealing with the stadium. And then my answer is yes, Qatar will be renewed, and Qatar will have the naming rights for the stadium. 200 million euros, we know about that. I won't talk about it anymore. Um, Sergio Roberto and Vidal should be enough for the RB spot. Visca Barca Lux asked me that. Um, well, I don't think so. I would bring someone uh, because Sergio Roberto should be, I think he should be used more in midfield, like he showed at the Bernabeu. I think I don't remember now. Did he play right back there? But he did move like inside in the midfield position quite often then, so I like him a lot there. So I think yeah, we should sign a right back as well. What else here? Mr. Sahies Kid 10 asks me, what's Barcelona plan if they are just letting some of their most experienced players on the cheap? Well, Alves, it was a desperate deal they made last season, and now he's pouncing on it, and they like it because of the wages. And Mascherano, I think they're desperate to slash the wages and get some transfer, some actual money from that. So that's the thing. About Sandro leaving for free, I think the best we will get like 7 million euros, and they think that is just, not enough for them. They do like to spend money on lawyers, though. Na, na, na. Mr. Eddie F underline 9 asked me, give me two good names for defenders we must sign this summer and one good midfielder player as well. I wrote this on my article. I think we should sign Mustafi and Koulibaly, and the one midfielder I would sign is Gudogan, but I know he keeps getting injured all the time, so Pjanic would be my choice. Uh, Mr. Thomas underline CMH asked me, would you have done the same if you were in charge? This is letting Maski and Dani go. No, I would definitely not let Mascherano go. He has been vital this season. He deserves to retire at the club if he wishes so. I heard he was thinking of retiring at Independiente later. But regarding Alves, I mean, if we are being totally honest, Alves has been choosing the matches he wants to play. He wants to perform greatly at. I mean, it's visible. Come on, like when you have like big matches and stuff, he plays better than he like playing some random away match at La Liga. Usually like one of our worst players when we have like some random 4 p.m. Spanish time away matching La Liga. He is not one of our best. He doesn't help much. And of course, I think about Alves is we knew eventually he would go away soon, and I'm only actually pissed because we didn't plan for it. I mean, in terms of a replacement, but it was time. It was time. I'm not like obsessed about that. Mr. Underline Ryan Beatty asks me, do you see Sergi Samper as the only Rio Academy prospect who can affect to the first team this coming season? Well, actually, we only used B players, academy players, for 70 minutes this whole season, which is ridiculous. Even Tata Martini used them for hundreds of minutes. And I've been told by a journalist I trust, by the name of Xavi Campos, that if Samper stays at Barcelona, he will remain at Barca B. There's no chance he's going to the first team. So forget that, sadly. Mr. Fadil Abu Al Saud, sorry if I said your name wrong. How do you rate the planning job inside the club? Milito, Marques, Puyol, Abdal, they are leaving since 2010 without a single CB signed. I think it's grotesque. I mean, we lost Marques, we lost Puyol, and the players we signed was fucking Alex Song, who Tito said no, I signed him because Wenger said he could play CB, and he was like one of the worst signings we have ever made. Even though some demented lunatics even tried to defend him, you know who I'm talking about. And then we signed Mathieu, you know how I feel about him, and Vermaelen, who cannot be trusted at all. So it's been awful. I really hope, especially if they let Mascherano go, that they sign good, young, promising players, who can start alongside PK and can say, oh, they're both really great, like we can say about Mascherano now, but, I don't trust them too. Mr. Malcolm Sacco asked me, who has been the most influential person in Barcelona's history? Cruyff, Messi, or Pep? Of course it's this guy over here. Okay? It's Cruyff. There is no, you can't think differently. Because the thing about Barcelona is, even though we had La Masia before Cruyff came around, we have Mr. Laureano Ruiz who planted the seeds and everything. It's about the winning mentality, Most people from Catalonia, before Cruyff came along, first as a player, and especially after he came on as coach, they were used to very little. I mean, they were really happy if we won one match against Real Madrid in the season, and then in the end of the season won the cup. That was it, you know. And Cruyff came with this mentality of, no, we can be the best. We can be the best on the pitch. We can play the way beautiful, the best visual football, a beautiful kind of football, and win while doing it. And he has planned the club around this idea, and everything we have seen after he took over is success. I mean, we have literally won double the leagues Real Madrid has since 1990. So Messi is the best player in history. He has surpassed everyone and he will keep doing so. But Cruyff is vital to this club and we owe everything to him. Especially the fact that we got to have a coach like Pep, who is the best coach in Europe and who has given us our best ever team. 10-11, 5-0 and the Champions League and everything. And so yeah, the answer is Cruijff. Let me see. So Mr. Arlond Mutombo asked me, should we worry about the departure of any key player in the near future for the same reason, wages? Well, I've been told the club has received offers for Bravo from England. but that would be less about wages and more about the fact that Ter Stegen needs the minutes. So yeah, he could leave as well. Um, FCB Gale asks me, does Vidal has what it takes to start next season? His issues with Lucho aside. Well, we haven't seen enough, have we? Because he didn't play that much. And he's asking about Luis Henrique because those who don't know, um, the players have this habit of playing some basketball, like a game. It's like it's like to have fun, okay, during the actual training sessions. And Aleix Vidal took part of one of those before the important matches against Real Madrid and Atletico and so on, and he got injured. And Lucio was like really pissed, and he hasn't um, played a single minute after that, which I think is really stupid. You do not. You're a grown man, Luis Henrique. You don't have to act like that, especially after you left Neymar come to Brazil to enjoy Carnival when he was on his like bad form, and then he came back and was even worse. But you know, okay. From Mr. Horton, Roshan, and a lot of numbers. From Silvinho, Belletti, Alves to Aleix and Adriano. And here's this scumbag Douglas waiting to replace Alves. Much wow. Yeah, true, but Adriano definitely is leaving. I don't think they will have like this shame to keep Douglas around. It won't happen. Um, Mahir 10 Khan asked me, can we start a crowdfunding to put a bounty on the heads of Bartomeu, Braida, Robert, and Co? No, it won't make any difference because the people who have voted for them would just vote for another, you know, worse asshole, and it would be the same. Just forget that this club is gonna have someone like Laporta around. That only happened because we were at our worst, and we won't be again as long as Messi is around. So don't expect changes. hmm What else? Okay, so I have Dario Santillan and Kulam Razu asking me about our backup forward. Listen, I don't think we need one, to be honest, because we know Messi, Suarez, and Neymar are going to be playing like 95% of the minutes. And Munir, I mean, if we are going to sign someone, it has to be someone with the profile Munir has, who can play as a left winger but also as a nine. Because Sandro, he's leaving for free because he could only play to replace Luis Suarez. He's a nine. He can't play on either wing. So I think looking at players like Nolito and what's the other guy? Gameiro. That's stupid. They are old, 29, 30-year-old players. We should be looking at someone like Leroy Sané, who I think is really good and promising, and or even Martial, who I know won't happen, but just to exemplify, like someone who can get from the wing and also work as a nine. It's tough, especially with the money situation. So I really think because Luis Enrique is obsessed about it, uh, maybe he'll get Nolito, an older guy. But if Nolito does come, what happens to Munir? No, it's a mess. Darius Santillan asked me if I trust Munir as a backup forward. Well, he has scored lots of away goals this season, especially on the second part of the season. So I don't think the kid was a failure, if you ask me sincerely, especially on those Copa matches. He scored against Espanyol and everything. So the thing about MSN is they are going to play 90 to 95% of the time. So I don't see why you need someone to be a backup. I don't get it. Mr. Matthias Christensen asked me why is it not possible to sign Berlin this summer. People, enough. Forget about re-signing Mazia players that have been that had left, and now we want to bring them back. We did that with Cesc Fabregas because it was a total failure. We did that with Alba, and we got lucky, but he actually like spent like I don't know, like 6, 8 years in La Masia when he was a kid. He never played like in Juvenil A or Barca B is different. And we did Aleix Vidal was even less. He played like 5 years when he was a kid. So this obsession with re-signing players that been in La Masia, we cannot spend 35 million euros in a player, especially at the right back. So Bellerin will not come. Forget about that. Okay, so the video is long, 35 minutes now. Sorry for that. But it's my first time. There was a lot to talk about, and I answered all your questions as well, at least every single one I got. So, okay. I hope these people do not make more mistakes during the summer, and I hope we do make a proper sporting planning, but doesn't seem to be the case, does it? So sorry about the long video, and don't get pissed about Mascherano and Alves. We'll be fine. And actually, now I'm gonna play football for the first time in 15 years. I haven't played football since I was 14, 15 years old. So, and when you know what's funnier, I used to play as right back. Yes, I used to be a better free kick taker than Alves as well. So yeah, hope I can score one today. See you. Take care.